the nation's defense secretary calls for major military cuts. And tonight we're asking what that might mean for MacDill Airforce Base. Good evening. I'm Brendan McLaughlin.
And I'm Wendy Ryan. Thanks for joining us. First tonight, the military's roadmap for the future calls for dramatically shrinking the Army. It would go from its current size of 522,000 soldiers to between 440,000 and 450,000. That would make it the smallest Army since just before the U.S. entered World War II. The plan calls for focusing attention from the long ground war in Afghanistan to emerging cyber threats from China and threats from al-Qaeda groups in Africa. Our Eric Waxler is following this developing story. He joins us live from MacDill Airforce Base with how it may be affected by these budget cuts. Eric?
Yeah, Wendy, people think, they wonder, is MacDill at risk when they hear about budget cuts? Well, that is not a part of what's being discussed right now, but the Department of Defense says in just 3 years they will need to go to Congress to discuss another round of base closures. Meanwhile, personnel here at the base, they have other things to worry about.
They keep cutting, they keep cutting, they keep cutting, you know? Why don't they take a look at themselves, see where they can cut?
Marine veteran William Bodette recently retired after serving 23 years. He says more cuts to the military and veterans' benefits leave him beyond frustrated.
Don't take it from the people that truly had to sacrifice. They're not to include just the service members, but also their families that had to sacrifice. You know, and now you're talking about taking even more from us? I mean, what else left? There's nothing left.
Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel laid out a new budget plan today that reduces active duty military by 13%.
You have fewer troops, fewer ships, fewer planes. Readiness is not the same standard. Of course there's going to be risk. That means there's risk across the whole horizon.
I fought in Mogadishu, Somalia, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and every single time we weren't up to par as far as in the number of personnel we needed.
Here in Tampa at MacDill Air Force Base, cuts to benefits like housing allowances and health care could affect thousands. Nearly 900 military personnel on the base have already been told their positions were vulnerable. But in a statement today, MacDill officials say at this point it is too early to know how the proposed budget would affect service members assigned to the 6th Air Mobility Wing. Bodette got help after leaving the Marines thanks to his brother Chris Brooks. He hires veterans for his landscaping business.
They're all scared that they're going to not have the medical coverage or the means to live. And that's what we hear from a lot of them.
And the defense secretary says that even with these cuts, the U.S. military will continue to be able to defend our country and our interests around the world. Congress will have the final say on the Pentagon's proposed budget. Live outside MacDill Air Force Base, Eric Waxler, ABC Action News.